Of course, when we started to look at normalizing testing, I was asking myself, hasn't it been normalized yet? But I maybe like many people, obviously, when I first came out as gay, it was around about '94, and of course, finding the queer community was difficult, but nonetheless, I found it, and I found my own community. I think I started HIV prevention volunteering with GMFA charity. That's the gay men's charity in Southwest London. And then, of course, everything spiraled up. I was learning and I was having a lot of knowledge around sexual health. But of course, in 2003, I went for one of my routine tests, to check my own HIV status, and it came back as a positive test. Like many people in that era, I thought, goodness me, this is a death sentence. How am I going to cope? And, what's life going to be like? But, I've been telling people that testing is very important. Testing is key to finding out what's going on for you. We're seeing the same thing right now with COVID. If you're having symptoms, the best thing is to test to eliminate, because, the symptoms with COVID is flu-like. So it could be that you're having a flu symptoms, but go test to at least eliminate it. And that is some of the things that I'm trying to advocate today. But having said that, my journey took me further. And I've always said to people, this is not really about bragging, that the best achievement I've achieved is actually post my HIV diagnosis. I'm not saying that it took HIV for me to achieve other things, but, I started to concentrate more. And I think that, when Ian was talking about his own diagnosis 25 years ago, that was actually the time of the gloom and era. And honestly, Liz, it's difficult. I'm not going to spoil it so soon because I have watched a few episodes myself. And honestly, you just prepare yourself with a lot of tissues and just be prepared for it. There's no doubt about that. But having said that, one of the things is that, as a religious leader, when I was already an ordained minister from my father's religious organization in Nigeria. So I was so concerned when I got diagnosed with HIV. I thought, oh my God, I'm gay and I'm HIV positive. This is a whole combination for hell. But, when I signed up with the Metropolitan Community Church, they took me on a journey of caring for myself and understanding. There were groups of people living with HIV in that community that also created peer support that I was able to join. But, the reality is that from my diagnosis specifically, in 2003, it took me up to 2009 before I could join a support group of newly diagnosed. You don't come along 6 years after diagnosis to a newly diagnosed. This is some of the things that are missing. So if we want to normalize testing, we have to be able to prepare spaces that people can have this conversation. We need to be able to knock aside stigma, knock aside the shame, the denial and discrimination. And that goes to every community. I tell you what, it's actually more worse in the Black community and in the religious communities, because we're not supposed to be having sex in the first place, let alone, sex with people of the same gender. So it's almost seen as deserving. And Liz, thank you so much for highlighting some of the things that I do. I have spoken out so much in the last few years, and any platform that allow me to speak, I will speak. I haven't been paid to promote this book, but
really?
Yeah, HIV.
I'll be the judge of that.
Who cares about HIV is an indictment on the church, a religious community that I'm also a part of. But I have to reassure people, we have to look at the balance. The church has also been doing their best to address HIV and HIV for a long time. But I think that the church can do more by ensuring that the priests and those who lead in the church have the foreknowledge of HIV in our spaces. Thank you.